What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist 8. Justin here, and I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really does mean a lot to me, and it keeps us growing. Ain't that right, Da Vinci? And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Now, the theme of this week's monthly spread is going to be love, Cancer. Whether we're looking for love, in love, this one's for you. And just so we're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems. Feeling great. Just good energy all around here, Cancer. Now, with this spread, we're going to be doing, like I said, a love spread. And we're just going to be kind of going till Higher Self says stop. We're just working with the energies here, Cancer. And just so you're all aware right off the bat, this isn't a gender-specific reading. We're just kind of working with the energies here. But, both? Okay. But the decks that I'm using before we jump into this thing, this deck that I'm using is the Light Seers Tarot deck. And the Oracle deck that I'm using is the Anatomy of a Witch Tarot deck. And I've included a link for these decks and all the decks that I like using down in the description box below. So definitely check that out if you're interested, Cancer. But let's get to this reading here, Cancer, because stuff's just jumping out at you here. But, and there we are, the Chariot. Okay, now let's now that I got that out of my system. Cancer. I feel like right now where we're at with love, maybe we're in this place of, interesting, Cancer. I feel like some of us in the past, maybe in love, we've been where, and this is only going to resonate for a few of you, but I feel like with this Justice card being in reverse here, maybe we're going through something right now where I feel like could be something of a legal matter, could be, with how this is popping up, maybe some of us might be going through a separation right now, could be, might have gone as far as a divorce. So some of us may not even be in the right headspace. Maybe we're, and this doesn't even necessarily have to be something that's happening right now, but maybe this is something that's happened here recently or, soon enough, that at least we're still thinking about it. And maybe we want to take some kind of action here. I feel like we want to move forward, but just something doesn't feel ready. I feel like maybe there's something, still some kind of like apprehension or something along those lines, Cancer, that I feel like that's not causing you to move forward, because it's interesting that you would have both the Chariot and the King of Wands, because the King and really the Ace of Wands, because really those are really, for me, really good momentum cards. And really with the Ace of Wands, this is something that is just like something real hot is coming here, something real magnetic or something along those lines. I feel like, but I'm wondering if I just feel like we may not be over a situation right now. There's something that is keeping us from making that momentum here. I think I'm going to clarify this little pocket over here. Let's start over there, Cancer. Because even with this one, okay, yeah, even with, it's just an interesting pocket here, because it's like we've gone through this thing. And I feel like maybe we're at a crossroads right now. Maybe we feel like, maybe we've met someone. Maybe this is something where it's like we might have met someone here new as of late. Maybe it kind of sparked an interest that maybe you didn't even expect. Maybe this might be giving you like, I'll say it, maybe soulmate vibes, or, someone who at least that you're getting ready to, that you can see spending a good amount of time with, Cancer. And I just feel like right now, where that's cool, make sure that you're healed from this thing over here, because I feel like there's a part of you that still there's something that we don't understand, or we're not getting the big picture from whatever's happened over here. And I feel like that there's still some things that might need to be worked out with this person, or make sure that we have all ties kind of cleared here before I feel like we embark on something new and expansive here. Because if that's something that's resonating with you, if we notice that maybe there's someone has come into your realm and it's feeling good, but maybe some of us are nervous that maybe history might repeat itself, or maybe we think it's too good, think it's too good to be true, and maybe even dismiss this person. I think that anymore here, I think that there's, before we make a decision, Cancer, whether we're, if this is something that we've gone through, and whether we're looking for love, or maybe we're in something that's kind of fresh here, make sure that we're getting the healing that that's needed. And also too, Cancer, make sure that we're communicating with this person, make sure they understand your situation here, because it's not like I feel that you're hung up on this past experience, or let's say, or you're thinking about going back to a person. But I just more so feel like, if let's say, for example, if this is a divorce that's coming in, divorce is a tricky situation. It's one of those things you feel, even if it ends on friendly terms, there are still some times where if you committed with this person, you decide to go through that whole process and pay the fine, do all the things, maybe you went real big on this day. That's a lot to unpack, Cancer, especially like that. I would imagine like that first year, because everything is going to be, you're used to doing it a certain type of way. I'm thinking about like Christmases, holidays, different. Maybe you had like your certain spots that you always went to, and now it's like we got to feel like, I don't want to say like we're tiptoeing more. I'm not saying that we're tiptoeing, but it's just like, those same old places, they don't resonate with us the same. It's just there's a lot of hidden things that can pop up when we're dealing with any type of separation. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be something as severe as a divorce, but it could be even in just like a breakup, depending on how long you were with the person, that still matters. It still can get you in a place of, you can still be out of balance and out of sync here, I'm getting, because I'm even trying to clarify this pocket here, but it's like there's still some stuff over here that needs to be unpacked, and I'm going to clarify this devil too, because that devil's kind of out of place. You got a lot of stuff. It's like, Cancer, I feel like if we can just get this little pocket filled here, or healed here, then everything is going to start. I feel like we're going to start getting that momentum again. Can we clarify the devil, please, higher self? Because if the devil to me would kind of signify that, we've made kind of progress, that we've moved over this thing. Or you know what? This could be something too. Maybe the reason partway why we got divorced from this thing is that maybe this person wasn't willing to kick any type of vices. Or Cancer, you're in a judgment-free zone here, but maybe this is something where maybe we were struggling with some vices, and that maybe we weren't able to kick a habit. But I do feel like maybe that there was a resistance to like the devil here to, maybe something, because it doesn't even necessarily have to be with like, I'm thinking like your trifecta: drug, sex, alcohol. It could be something where maybe it was like gambling over here. Maybe it could be something with like gambling, or whatever, Cancer. It just, if there wasn't any type of healing that wasn't being done here, I can see where, maybe we're feeling defeated. Maybe we could feel like, we tried to help this person out, and, maybe we might be taking that personally. I'm not sure, Cancer, but even getting more over on this little pocket here, it feels like even some of us might feel like our family has been broken, or something, something where there's been this separation has really, really got you feeling some kind of way. And I really think that we might be, not that I don't think that you should look for love, Cancer, but I feel like that we should make sure that that we're not bringing any sort of like old wounds or anything into when we decide to embark on something new. Because if we're not in something right now, I do feel like there's something coming up here in the future, and something really, really incredible that could be happening. But Yeah, we need to understand what's going on with this. What's going on in this. And let's get more on that devil, because even explaining that, the devil doesn't quite seem to fit into the mix here. I'm more. Yeah, I'm getting Cancer that it's like maybe in the past we were both. Yeah, Cancer. Interesting. I'm thinking that maybe in the past that we were trying to get someone to possibly not necessarily like change their ways, but try to raise their vibration up a little bit. I feel like maybe we tried and I feel like it might have worn you out, Cancer, because that's something too with Cancerians. I feel like we have a tendency to, because my son's in Cancer, and I think that sometimes we have a tendency to, even if things aren't going so great, we will pour into it and pour into it and pour into it and pour into it until we have to say when. But I feel like it takes a long time for a Cancerian to say when in a relationship. I feel like, if just because I think with our energy, because I don't know about you, Cancer, but I enjoy being in love. It is a really wonderful feeling. Even just like the cheesy kind of romance and all that stuff. I'm not necessarily the greatest maybe at doing it, like as far as like maybe like setting up like a picnics or dates or things like that. But I love, the little cute interactions, just like hey, what's up, bae, just like little things like that. And I think that sometimes we can cling into that. We can cling to that so much that we sacrifice we're sacrificing too much of ourselves, is what I'm trying to, that whole thing is to say, Cancer. And I think that with this past thing, and something to learn in the future, Cancer, because I feel like that this thing didn't happen, if things kind of went south here. This thing happened for a reason, why this thing went down here. And I feel like it might be to maybe break that trend, if we were the type that just like, maybe we poured our hearts in too fast, or we have a tendency of maybe giving too much and, compromising too much without getting anything back in return. I feel like maybe that's where this devil is coming into play. It's like kind of saying like, Cancer, it's time to get over this. Like it's time to get eyes on that. It's like, why do we feel the need to do that? Is it fear of being alone? Is it, and not that I don't think you're going to be alone, Cancer. I feel like it's one of those things that when we've done some healing here, then we make space for our soulmate. This energy that's trying to creep into the mix here. But there's so much. There's like this, you got the death card, but it's like I feel like we're resisting the transformation here, and it's time to get some eyes on this thing, Cancer, so that we can get back in balance, so that we can get to where, because really a Cancerian's love is really something very special, and all the signs have, it's we all bring something cool to the table. But Cancerians and, water energy and all of that, we just, when we take care of someone, it's just like, hey, you don't really, really, we're real crazy about you. I feel like you don't got to lift a finger. Your coffee's made in the morning, what do you want for breakfast? Things could be made up and done, it's cleaned up, I feel like, that's very wonderful energy, Cancer. And I feel like we want to make sure we're protect that chariot, and put in and really take the time. I think that some of us would benefit before we move on to the next thing. If we just got out of something, or if we're still feeling some residual effects from a relationship. Enjoy the time that you are, enjoy being single for a little bit. I know that this is a love reading, and I do think that, honestly, love will come. But I feel like first, that there's something here that, maybe we need some time to just kind of be on our own and just understand, what it is that we want from a relationship, what it is that we're willing to give in a relationship, and just kind of do some self-growth and do some do some healing, you know, get some of that back, because right now, Cancer, this, just with these cards here, you know, get King of Wands and Knight of Wands, it just, for me, it just doesn't feel like the wisest time to make a move, you know. Just, and that's just if we've not healed. If we've healed from this thing, I say full steam ahead, because Cancer, there is love waiting out there for you. But any more here? Yeah, just make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row, and that we've you know, put this thing to bed, and that, you know, that there are no kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That there aren't any leftover feelings that need to be dealt with, you know, that we're feeling content in this thing, you know, that like, okay, that chapter in my life is done. I'm ready to welcome in Wheel of Fortunes, and I'm going in with Ace of Wands energy right here, because this soulmate, I feel like that's where the soulmate's at, in this little pocket here, but we got to get past this little barrier first. But let's pull some oracle cards, Cancer. Let's get into some of that here. Let's get a little extra clarity on this situation here. And absolutely, Cancer, let's get some. Wow. So your first card is perception, and so I do think of how are we right now? You know, I feel like too, you know, when we think about this situation that has gone down, you know, I think that sometimes we can think that if it were like a divorce, for example, that, you know, that maybe we failed, you know, maybe we're not meant to be in a relationship, you know, we don't deserve love and all of that. Cancer, if we're feeling that, I feel like change that view up, because, you know, maybe this wasn't the right thing for you because of, you know, you did this energetically, or, you know, you noticed that when you two maybe went out, you know, this person liked to do X and you preferred to do Y, and we might have met clashes there. You know, kind of look over this thing, you know, because I feel like it's, the thing with the relationship is, it's a two-way street where, you know, maybe you had your fair share to play into it, but, you know, this other person too has, there's something there as well. So I just feel like, you know, a matter of how we look about situations, and even how we go about love in the future, you know, being mindful of, oh, hands, okay, being mindful of, you know, what we're trying to get into, you know what I mean? Because now you got hands here, and I really feel like this is more so kind of saying, just like getting a grip on like your feelings right now. You're like getting eyes on this situation here, and I really feel like, you know, showing yourself some compassion, you know, little things like, hey, you did not fail in this situation here. Maybe it might help to, you know, maybe getting into, maybe talking with a friend about this, you know, or a family member, something, you know, and this isn't medical advice, but if we even need to take it to a professional route, that's okay too, Cancer. But I feel like maybe someone, I'm getting more so, I feel like a friend or a family member would be good for this hand situation here, because maybe we just need a hug, you know, someone to just kind of like tell us it's okay, you know, to kind and just kind of feel this thing out a little bit, because something as simple as that, you know, can go a long way, Cancer. Anymore? Oh, not a stack. But yeah, I hope this is making sense, Cancer, because this is because believe me, I believe it or not, I get it. especially if we're going through a divorce thing, you know, I understand, Cancer, but it's this situation does not define you. If anything, that this is a lesson. It shows you that it shows you a couple things, really. You know, I think one, that let's say if we had to be the one that had to make this decision to break up, you know, sometimes that can be like the hardest thing in the world to have to, you know, to realize that, like, I don't think this is working, and I don't want to hurt this other person's feelings, but I got to think about my own thing. You know, that it can teach you that even in tough situations, you can rise up to the occasion here. And another thing too, you know, with this, like I was saying before, this whole thing just kind of showed you what you want in love, what you don't want in love, and what maybe some things that you do that other people like and that they don't like. You know, that's something that you can get eyes on too. But, you know, it's, you know, with this, because this is the last card, yeah. With this Banish card, I feel like that, let's switch back over Cancer. And I feel like with this Banish card, it's about taking this oldness, and maybe that's something to do, once this thing has resolved, maybe write down the lessons, the things that, your experience through this whole thing. It doesn't have to be anything lengthy. And then maybe set it on fire, release that to in a controlled fire, Cancer, release, burn that thing, allow it, maybe something, having like a visual like that will allow you to kind of let that thing go, and then and you know what too, when you're doing that, I was just thinking and looking at this card, and I like that there was a little cup of water here with that, just because then I would think, once you set that thing on fire and let that stuff kind of release there, then we can take our energy, water energy, and pour that out there. We're cleansing this thing. We're out with the old, and in with some newness, in with this Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Wands hottie that's coming into your mix, Cancer. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. That feels good. So, hopefully you enjoyed that, because I do, Cancer. If we resonated with this thing, I get where that can be a lot. So, yeah, give that a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you know someone who's going through something like this, Cancer, because it can be a lot, let's share this thing. Let's raise that vibration, kind of help each other out here. So, subscribe, hit that bell button. You'll get notified when I release videos each week. I'm getting better about being all up on social media. I'm getting there. I got my Instagram is at least made, because I made a promise to you and the Chariot and Friends last week that we were going to create some things, and I was going to create an Instagram page. So, make sure that I made it, because when I'm recording this a little bit earlier. But yeah, make sure that I follow through on that, Cancer. And then lastly, while we're talking about the Chariot and Friends, the Chariot came up here, so I'm taking this as a sign that Spirit wants you to check out the Chariot and Friends. And that's shameless, but check it out, Cancer. It's exclusively for you. I love talking about our energy and really kind of understanding what we're working with here. So I discuss lunar shenanigans. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping, come on, it's a bunch of Cancers gathered together. It's a party. But all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card so I can get you out of here. I dig it. So you got the Page of Swords over here. And then for your Oracle card, we have the Awaken reverse. And so, Cancer, I feel like with these energies, it's time for a new way of thinking, in love and in life, where I feel like instead, sometimes I think when we think about past relationships and how they didn't succeed, we let those things define us, then we become like, where it's like, well, maybe I'm not meant to be in love, maybe that, whatever it is whatever misconception that we tell ourselves, I really feel like it's time to wake up and to realize that that's not the case. This experience, yes, it happened. It may not have been ideal, but it happened for a reason. And it could be, because now look how the Chariot's migrated. The Chariot is even moved. It started over in this corner here, and I just happened to just put it down just randomly. But it was sitting comfortably right here with its soulmate here. And I feel like that when that realization comes in that we do deserve this love, that when we get the lessons from these situations here, it could be, because look, now that we've gone through all this stuff here and we've healed and we've made space, look at what can come in, Cancer. Wheel of Fortune, and it's coming in hot. Ace of Wands, So I'd say, Cancer, right now, yeah, focus on healing, be with yourself, and just watch. When you're ready to put your energy out there, you're going to be like a magnet, and I feel like, that one is going to come towards you, because that thing, these cards didn't move. They were looking at me all this whole reading here. So I got, there's something good here on the horizon if we're not already in something, Cancer. So I'll leave that there. Stay safe out there. I was going to say keep eyes on the moon. You know what that means if you join the Chariot and Friends. But you keep raising that vibration, Cancer. I love it. And I will catch you on the next one later.